5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Oh, we've had a mare. We've had an absolute mare. Pod a day. One for fucking hell do I know. I don't. Every day is one. The sun and the moon are alike. I don't see colour. What? That was meant to be in terms of day and night. It's the same for me. I don't see darkness or lightness, but it just sounded like a weird race thing out of nowhere. This is my head. This is my hair. Because yes, I just woke up, not to be awake. I was awoken out of my sleep by what you ask, by the remembrance of this, the fact that I came home and, as you know, I've been speaking about, I've been running off no sleep, because I've had an assortment of weird shifts in a row, and it's been some of the most tiring work. Not because the work is actually hard, the work is fucking easy. But the reason I say it's the most tiring work is because it's not physically tiring. It's just by process of being awake, it's tiring. So like having to get up really early, like having to get up at like 2 a.m, 2:30 to get ready, traveling some long distance to get somewhere for like 5:30, then to do a long shift, then to get back, and then to get back at like 9 or 10, to then eat or whatever. It takes me forever to fall asleep. I don't know why. I need to get something to sort that out. My brain gets too active, especially when I know I only have like if I get back and I know, okay, it's not ideal, but if I sleep now, I can grab about 4.5 hours. Because I know that, I can't. And the most annoying thing is, once I am asleep, I'm like a corpse. I'm basically dead. Anything could, well, I mean, anything could happen. Doesn't mean anything should happen, but I'm just saying, anything could happen when I'm asleep. Like, for all intents and purposes, I am dead. I don't wake up. I'm not a light sleeper. But to get there, to fall asleep, it's a struggle. So you get back, you'll be like, okay, it's about 9 now. I'll probably eat something, watch a couple things. Let's be honest, I didn't fall asleep till like 12:30, and I know I gotta get up at 2. Actually, I think I didn't even sleep at all. I'm not gonna lie, I was lying on my back listening to a podcast, which I know is not gonna help me falling asleep, but I kind of just accepted the fact that I was gonna get shit sleep anyway. So I went off no sleep, went into work the next day. You're just chugging energy drinks, or not even. I had like a little bit. You're just trying to nap in while you're there, whatever. But that's what I mean. Like, the job isn't tiring. It's more that what's the word? It's just like, imagine your job was to draw pictures of elephants. Really easy job, right? They can be, art is subject. What's it? Art is beauty in the eye of the beholder. Art is subjective. They don't have to be realistic. They can be however you want them to be. Let's assume you like elephants as well. Add that on top. That's the dog. I'm not even gonna cut. I am gonna cut. I do have some kind of self-respect, but it's just like, why is the dog asking to leave? Just to immediately be like, "Yo, let me back in now." It's just like bullshit like that. Just pisses me the fuck off. But yeah, what was I saying? Something about elephants. Oh, let's just say you like elephants as well. Add that on top. Let's add that in the mix. You like them, and you got to draw them every day. But you got to get up at 2 a.m. to travel a long journey to get somewhere for 5 a.m. You draw them, and then you're there for like 15 hours, and then it's like that would be your most tiring job you ever had, simply just because you're not sleeping. It's probably not even the job's fault. The job is easy. Maybe it's not the most tiring job you ever had. It's just the most tired you are in general. Basically, I got back and I was tired. It was one of these scenarios. I got back. I hadn't slept for over 40 hours or something. And I got back and I was like, fuck. And here's the issue. When you're there, you can't have your phone. So I can't see what's happening around the world. I don't know if anything news is happening. I don't know that, Tom Hanks has just got in a street fight with Conor McGregor. Like, I don't know these things, right? So you're coming back and it's like, you're looking through stuff, you're not really finding anything, you're not really seeing much. And you're like, well, not only am I tired and like my eyes are like, your eyes are so heavy you can't stay awake. Am I struggling to do this? It's like I've got nothing to say, so I know it'd be one of these episodes where I just concede and I name it something like the worst episode ever, or don't listen to this episode because I'm ashamed, and it's just me like here like, hey guys, hey guys, so hey guys, did you hear about? There's just nothing to say. So, but I was gonna do that because it's pod a day, and you've got to. But the only thing that really came across my radar that I felt I could maybe I'll talk about this was James Gunn. James Gunn, comic book movie director. Everyone loves him at the moment. And usually, when everyone loves you, that's exactly when something happens to knock you off your cliff. That's just the way it works. Either everyone starts to hate you just because you're like at your peak and everyone loves you, or that's when something comes out and you just fall off a cliff. That being said, he kind of already had that moment at what we thought his peak was, which was after Guardians 2. We thought, oh, that was James at his maximum, and then he sort of got knocked off with the whole getting cancelled thing when they didn't actually get cancelled, and then everyone wanted him back, and it kind of made him stronger than ever. So he kind of had a fake knock off the top, and he actually was never even at his peak, because now he's went and dropped Guardians 3, made him even, can I get much higher? So high. Yeah, you can get much higher, and now he's like the head of DC, and he said, fuck you, Marvel, I'm going to make the best trilogy in your thing. I'm gonna give you the best movie out of your recent years since probably No Way Home, and then I'm gonna skadoosh. That doesn't, and I'm gonna be at DC ahead of your competitors, and everyone's gonna frickin' love me, and I'm gonna make so much cash. And you could have had all of this, DC, but I left you, Marvel. I love how James Gunn openly just talks about like, yeah, they did some things in my characters I wouldn't have liked, but or when he's like in that very video I was watching about his 5 favorite movies, he was like talking about Into the Spider-Verse. He's like, it's so seamless, and a lot of the times you see these multiverse movies, it's just messy. This was not, and it's just like, okay, what other multiverse movies do I even know? Well, there's probably a lot, but in recent years I can't really think of any. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once is one, and I know you definitely wasn't talking about that because everyone loved that. It's like the only other obvious recent one I can think of, and there's others, but I can't. I'm tired. It's Doctor Strange, so he probably thought that was messy and dog shit, but that's normal. I mean, I'd be surprised if he thought it was good, to be honest. It's more just that he says it openly. But anyway, so I was watching this, like, it'll be kind of interesting to see. Maybe I can talk about that a little bit. I can stretch that out for a whole episode. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I'm watching it, and somewhere in between him talking about his favourite films, I teleport to being like waking up out of a coma. Fuck yeah. And being like, oh shit, what time is it? And like, obviously I fell asleep, and now it's like earlier, in the morning. But I've had times where like, this has happened and I've fallen asleep before for an episode, but then I've woken up probably only like 3-4 hours earlier than it is now, and posted it, or I've just did it on without falling asleep, but the internet was so that it went on like 7 hours there. So we've had anomaly episodes like this. So we're gonna keep going. I think the most important thing is that I don't know how many times they say oh, it's this many times to make it a habit, and this thing's to make it a whatever. But I don't know if I think it's way more than a habit now. I've been doing this for almost 150 days in a row, and it's definitely had an impact. But the fact that I am so tired, just ain't slept enough. And then now I'm gonna work today, or tomorrow. Another time to finally catch it back up, to finally have a long sleep. You think I'd wake up 4 days from now, but no. I've probably slept for the bare minimum of 5 hours, which I probably could have went for about, because the last time I had a cluster like this in a row, I slept like well into the late afternoon. But the thing that woke me out of my sleep was this insignificant podcast today, and that's kind of beautiful, man. Am I tired now? The back of my throat kind of feeling weird and hurting. I don't really know what the cause of that is right now. Yeah. Are my eyes tired? Is my head tired? Am I yawning a lot? Am I probably going to go to sleep immediately after this? Yeah, boy. Or will I? Because I don't even know if I could now. But I'll probably end up like napping later or something. But the point is that I'm here. I'm standing here, and the thing that woke me up out of my sleep was not, you know. It was like when you wake, so it just urges you to wake up out. Like it shows you it's important. It now feels important to me. Like if this happened around episode 20, and I fell asleep, would the idea of doing this wake me up out of my sleep somewhere in my brain? No. My throat really feels weird. It kind of feels like hot, like I can't explain it. I think it's new water. No, it wouldn't. But 150, it does, and it's just like that's what you want. That's what you want. Do you actually? Or does it cause me too much stress? But yeah, actually talking on the James Gunn thing. This is ridiculous. This is just getting silly now. Talking on the James Gunn thing, though, his list, his top 5 favorite films. I mean, they're his favorites. It wasn't listed as like what he thinks are the best comic book movie films, but he makes a lot, and he has a specific style. But I feel like some of the ones he had in there, or ones that's like, oh yeah, technically it's based on a comic book somewhere, but it doesn't really feel like it. Feels like a bit of a cheat answer. So other ones that I actually accept as real, like one of them I don't even know what it was. It was Viggo Mortensen. It was like, I don't know. I feel like when we're talking about comic book films, we're basically asking you, out of every Marvel and DC film, what's your favorite? Because outside of that, nothing really counts, does it? Like, there's probably other comic books. I know The Boys is based off of a comic book that isn't Marvel or DC. So I guess there's anomalies out there, but most of these things that had like graphic novels, like the odd graphic novel here and there, just kind of feel like these great films that are cheat answers. But out of like, I guess the actual ones people would know, and I mean, Old Boy people would know that film, and maybe the other one people do as well. But and the ones he said Into the Spider-Verse, and there was an order as well. So 5 was, he didn't put any of his own movies in there, which I think is, it's a good humble thing to do. Fuck, what else did he have? I just remember he had Into the Spider-Verse. Oh, he had Deadpool. He had the first Deadpool. He had Into the Spider-Verse. He had... Oh, and he had like some old Superman film where Superman was flying and it looks like he's on wires in the 70s. Because it meant a lot to me, so in his childhood. So what interested me the most is obviously we've got nostalgia bias here with Superman. We then have 2 films I've heard of Old Boy, but 2 films that don't really feel like comic book films, so I'm kind of ignoring them in that sense. And then you have the actual ones that are interesting me. The ones from semi to modern day, they're both modern day. Deadpool was the first Deadpool, I don't know how long ago that came out, but they're all like modern day, recent stuff. I was like interested in what in this current market is James Gunn, fucking around with what's he liking. So it's interesting to see how the common day, is it common present day? Was I saying common day there the whole time? Because our other present day films that he didn't make, what he actually rates from his peers, and Deadpool, because he said have his honorable mentions. Deadpool 2 was in there as well. Also funny that he didn't put any like Marvel films in there. He doesn't technically work for them anymore. It doesn't feel like he would have to. And even if he did, I don't think he would, just out of the sake of it. But yeah, Deadpool and Into the Spider-Verse. He said Into the Spider-Verse is his number 1. So he didn't even put like a nostalgia film at number 1 or like anything artsy or something. He put Into the Spider-Verse. Crazy. Deadpool being number 5, I don't know, that is really mental. Also in his honorable mentions he had my god. I don't think he had, like, here's an example. Like, he never like he has a certain tone he likes. Even in his honorable mentions, he didn't even mention like The Dark Knight or anything like that. So really not his thing. And I don't know if Batman's gonna feature in his DC films. I can't remember what like the list was, but like when he talks about his favorite comics growing up, it's all like the obvious ones. It's like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, right? It's like in his top list, he had Superman, a Superman film. In his honorable mentions, he had Spider-Man: Homecoming, which I also think is the best. I think Spider-Man: Homecoming is really underrated. Even think people like it, but I think even still it's underrated. I think it's like one of the best Spider-Man films in general. Like it's just a really tight film. It's got a good vibe. Like it's just really good. Iron Man's not really in it as much as people remember or think. It's just good. You know, it's just good. It doesn't break any boundaries. But it tells the story very well. It's very tight and it's very good. He put that in his honorable mentions. It's a Spider-Man film, but like, being a Batman guy like it, Batman doesn't have like any Batman film in his honorable mentions or top 5. It's like it'll be interesting to see what his Batman film looks like if he is making one, because there's been a lot. You've got, you know, Michael Keaton and Robert Pattinson and Ben Affleck and fucking everyone under the sun, Christian Bale. None of them fit into his top. Like, well, none of these good enough for you, James? Is interesting. You know, because a lot of different flavors there, so it'll be interesting to see what his flavor of a Batman film is. But yeah, he did have Homecoming in his honorable mentions. That, you know, it was validation there. Really appreciated him saying that for a split second. But yeah, I'm fucked out of my head right now. This was 145. I don't know. Seeing whatever number comes after whatever number this one is.
With a kid, and I had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.